Well, here we go again with yet another visit to a local legend here in Port Alberni. Legend, I think he is a legend. Certainly looking at some of the stuff in front of us here, yes, he's legendary. If you ever go to a Bulldog game, you'll see this guy there. He's usually up near the broadcast booth and maybe calling the shots. I'm not quite sure, but that's where you can find him at those Bulldog games.
I've never made a refereeing error or a coaching error.
I wouldn't think so.
Stand up.
Yeah. So we've had quite a few of these so far. We've, as we pointed out a few times, we've had 3 Toms in our interviews. We've had a guy named Jerry, Ed, son Larry. We had Dwayne, and now we've got Ron. And I'm going to let Bob introduce him. But first of all, we're reminding everybody that this is Consequential Conversations, and we are discussing, the fabric of Port Alberni. And it's been really, really enjoyable thus far, and it's only getting better. So, Bob, I'm going to put it over to you and introduce our guest today.
Well, Ron Paulson, I'm hoping, and again, another interesting, educational, and entertaining conversation, and learn a little more about what makes you tick, what you like about the Valley, what you remember, exciting moments, many exciting moments, I'm sure, and that's so. Glad to be here and talking to you. And between Bill and I, he'll ask you the hockey questions because I never could skate very well. Last time I skated was on Turtle Lake when it froze over.
Did you ever skate in the old curling club at the end of 10th Avenue?
Don't think so. I curled. I was a curler, but I wasn't a skater.
I think I went to a
that burned down. No, you didn't.
Oh, not
10th Avenue burned down.
The old rink.
Old rink.
Oh, okay.
And they skated in there.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, for sure. That's before my time.
It was before my curling time too. I curled in what is still a curling club.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
well,
yeah, I guess I'm supposed to ask a question or two to get you going. When did you get here? How'd you get here?
To make a long story long, I came to Port Alberni for the first time on the island in a hockey playoff. And I was playing for the Prince George Mohawks at that time. And we went 3 games. We lost by 1 goal in the final. And the grass was green.
Bad reffing? Was it bad?
Oh, horrible.
Yeah, of course.
Always a referee. And the grass was green, the roses were blooming, and we got back on the bus, and we got up to Williams Lake on the way home to Prince George, and it started to snow. And I stood up in the bus, and I went, fellas, I'm moving to Vancouver Island to play hockey. So I came in a 1974-75 hockey season to Port Alberni to play for, at that time, they were called the Labatt Blues. And I moved to Port Alberni, loved the community. Those were the days you had McMillan Bloedel was a big player in the community, and they actually brought players in and put them to work.
Yeah. Employed them so they could play basketball and hockey.
So we had players come from all over the country. I originated and played hockey in Edmonton. But we had guys from Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, obviously, and it was a lot of fun. It was hard-nosed, hard-hitting hockey, clean-ish, and that's
you could come and play, and you could be employed, which was and you could get days off to go to
wherever you had to go.
MNB was very flexible for that.
It was a great time, and as I tell the story, and then I met a local girl, and the rest was history.
Yeah,
and here
you
since
did a good job on that one too.
Oh yeah. Well, she was a jeweler in town, and
did you get a discount on the engagement ring? Or?
I did.
Oh, you did. Family discount.
Yeah,
that's
she probably liked the one you picked.
Actually,
right?
The father-in-law gave it to me and said, "Take it." No, I'm just kidding. No.
Is he in trouble for that one?
But I spent 75 to 10 years involved with the Port Alberni Islander Blues. They became the Port Alberni Islanders. They became the Greenwood Islanders. I had a good playing career with them. And, the thing that's fun about hockey at that level, and it was a high level of hockey.
It was, yeah.
In that day and age, there was only 6 teams in the NHL, so there was only 120 pro jobs available.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We all wanted to play
Yeah.
in the NHL, but there was only 120 jobs. Certainly, there was 120 hockey players in Canada better than I was.
Yeah. Really? You're pretty good here, if I remember.
You know,
Oh, well, good. So,
You were the 121st
yeah,
player.
yeah,
121st, just
Yeah.
missed the draft.
just
right?
talking about the level of the senior A hockey here, and really guys that couldn't play in the NHL or the American Hockey Leagues played senior A somewhere across Canada, and it was a very high level of hockey, and it was a privilege to play at that level with, and especially with the teammates that I got to play with.
And how far did our team go in the years you were here? I think pretty close to a national championship.
Well, we got to the provincial finals twice that I can remember, and we lost both times. No, we lost to the Schmear Flyers.
Schmear.
Yeah, Paul Schmear, the older brother, played for Minnesota.
Yeah.
But there was a number of brothers that played for that team, and they were good. They were big. They were mean. They had several ex-pros playing with that team, and we had a great rivalry with them. Some of the viewers might remember a guy by the name of Bud Gulka, and he was a henchman for the Schmear Flyers, and he actually played 2 years for the Vancouver. What were they called in the
Billionaires?
In the WHA.
Oh, I forget.
Oh, in the WHA.
Yeah,
I forgot what they were called.
Were they involved?
we expanded, and he played 2 years with them in pros as a.
Talking about him, where was Larry Navrat in these times, wasn't he?
Oh, I was a protector.
He was our protector.
Oh yeah, Lawrence of the Ukraine. I call him.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of neat characters that came through this this hockey time, and Bob Jackman from Newfoundland, Ob my name's Ob Jackman, and Larry Navrat and his brother Al played for the team at various times. They were from Manitoba, I believe, and I got a picture in this program, and this fellow owns a fairly large aviation company, but Wayne Coulson played goal for us. This is the
he was goal, was he?
Yeah, this is the 81-82 season, and Wayne's in that program and was one of our teammates. Actually, it was an interesting transition that year in the team because the Port Alberni Timbermen were very strong. They were a very strong junior B team, and I think they went to the provincial championships a number of times. And in that transition, there's a number of local boys that made this hockey team.
Wow.
That's how talented
local
hockey was here.
All over. That was a big
they
thing.
went to school here in
So our hockey lineage, and it carries on to you were very involved. You stayed in hockey, involved in hockey ever since the 70s. So my question to you at Hockeyville. And I remember the big to-do with Hockeyville, and you were a spark plug for that, no question.
I had just started working for the city of Port Alberni at the multiplex. I was a recreation programmer there, and I had a partner in crime that from time to time would phone me and say, "Ron, what do you think about doing this? Or what do you think about doing that?" And I go, "Oh, no, we wouldn't stand a chance." That guy is Russell Dyson. And Russell would phone me and he says, "Ron, for the first year, CBC is running this contest to determine the community that would be Hockeyville." He says, "What do you think if we enter into that?" I said, "No, I don't have time. I'm so busy." So I sat on it for about 2 days, and I phoned him back and I said, "Russ, we got this brand new multiplex.
Yeah.
What more could be considered Hockeyville?" And how the multiplex
was it even built?
And
volunteers
and contributions. And so we put in our application, and there was quite a process. CBC came to our community a number of times and did some on-site footage. and they chose the top 24 communities across the nation.
Yeah.
And we were one of the 24. And we sent quite a contingent to Hamilton. They flew us to Hamilton for a week-long shooting of Hockeyville. And it was like reality television where you had to vote and you had to get your community to rally behind you. One thing that, when we first decided to do this, we put out a call to the community. We used the radio station. We said, tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, we want to get as many people in the community as we can to the multiplex.
I was in.
And we want to take a picture. Well, there had to be
Whole town showed up.
There had to be 2,000 people showed up. The fire department showed up with a ladder truck.
That's
and
great.
took the picture from the ladder truck, looking down on this crowd. And that became our cover photo for our application to Hockeyville. But we wound up going to Hockeyville in Hamilton, and we really had a lot of fun. And one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about that whole thing was there was 24 communities from across the nation.
Yeah.
And you got to meet people from the Maritimes to Ontario, Central Canada, from the prairies, and throughout British Columbia as well. And, we met some characters from a town called Plaster Rock, which hosts the largest outdoor hockey tournament.
Wow.
Was that
one up north?
No, it's on New Brunswick.
Oh, okay.
Plaster Rock. But we met people from Miramichi,
I'm looking at that.
Maple Creek, O'Leary, PEI.
Wow.
There's one guy here, Peter Brown. He's from Airdrie, Alberta, and Peter wound up being the mayor of Airdrie, which is just north of Calgary. But he wrote here, beer, sex, your kindness of Guy. So I don't know what that is.
And what that meant. Yeah, that's some kind of northern Alberta or southern Alberta, middle Alberta lingo.
Yeah, Charlottetown. It was just so much fun.
So in that picture, and I think it's important, that picture.
Yeah, sure.
That's really good.
Know if you
You also had another spokesman. I see there were lots of good Port Alberni people there. Now you say they flew you there. They only flew two of you there.
Right.
Yeah,
the rest all came as volunteers.
They flew Tom McAvey and myself. We had to pick two people from our committee.
I'm glad you took Tom because, he's a pretty good public speaker too.
Well, he's never found a microphone he didn't like.
Yeah.
Another key player in that was Darlene Coulson.
Oh, yes.
Involved.
Yeah.
And Darlene helped us put together a Port Alberni bragging package.
Yeah.
But it wound up being on a pallet because we had that many brochures. We had that many cans of salmon.
You bribed them too.
Yeah, bribed.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had to drive CBC.
Oh, yeah, you bribed the judges there.
But Darlene arranged through Coulson Aviation to fly that pallet back to Ontario for us. So we distributed that throughout communities and stuff. So there's little things like that happen.
Made the difference.
And
we got it. We got Hockeyville.
And we didn't get it, but we finished in the top 5.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
We finished in the top 5. Which was a huge...
Well, we thought we got
sure.
it. It was such a good thing for the community. It was awesome.
It was incredible. And it was a lot of fun. The community was revved up.
The next step after that was getting above Junior B and getting to... Junior B was fine, and then we got Junior A.
Yep.
Now we got Junior B again. So we got both. That was really nice to have both. But you were very involved with the Bulldogs coming here, getting here, being here, and then the Junior Hockey Society.
Yeah.
Russell Dyson again as a bit of a instigator.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was working for the city of Port Alberni at that time, 2006 or 5 it was. And there's a lot of stuff that I got to do for Urine. And at that point in time, my boss was Scott Kenny and Ron Detzel. And really, part of my job was to expand the multiplex, make it work. And a couple of years before Hockeyville, we did land Bulldogs.
Yeah.
The Timbermen became the Bandits, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And they played in the multiplex for the first year or two that it was open before we got the Bulldogs. And time went through, I became the guy on site during Bulldog games, kind of watching over our liquor license upstairs.
All the rules, right? I remember you giving me hell.
Oh, well, I almost had to throw you out a couple times.
Yeah.
Kind of out of control. But
why can't I take my beer to the stand?
Because.
Oh, we used to.
Just because. But those, once again, are great. It was a great time in my life, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. During that time, I got to be involved with the tall ships.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another great festival in town. Wow.
And I was the protocol director, so I was responsible for opening and closing ceremonies, but also direct liaison with all the ships from all around the countries to make sure they got their checks on time for their appearance fees, make sure that in their agreements they had laundry and fueling and those sorts of things, make sure that all of that stuff got done. And it gave me the opportunity to you didn't be on personal contact with people from around the world. Right?
Really?
I kind of considered you a bit of a policeman because you kept things in order, but you didn't catch it when we smuggled a new boat onto the Russian ship for them to take back.
Yes, I did. I was there.
You were there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They went down to Fort Boathouse and bought a boat and motor to go.
Yeah, to take back to the commandant to their base in Vladivostok.
Yeah, really.
To water, so they could water ski on a lake that's.
I think so.
Yeah, seriously.
I looked down there and they're getting ready last day, and they got
a shit load.
They're down there with a forklift loading this boat on the back of the.
Tarping it down.
The Pilata. The ship's name was the Pilata, and. Just one real quick story that was really cool during tall ships. It was the year that the Mexican ship was there. And just a side note on the Mexican ship, you may have seen a few months ago something on the news about a tall ship that kind of got loose in New York Harbor and wound up crashing into one of the bridges.
Yeah.
And there was a number of sailors
died. Yes.
So they were up in the boom
on the booms.
Yeah. But anyway, our organizing committee was invited to a social on board the Mexican ship, and there's a Mexican ship was, pardon me if I say this wrong, but it was the Watemoc. And anyway, we're on there, and there's two things that happened on board that I thought was really cute. Food, Mexican food, like you couldn't, and there's officers wandering around with bandoliers of shot glasses.
Shot glass for tequila.
And
did they come from Carlos and Charlie's?
I don't know. But one of the officers came to me and to Beth and I and said, "Would you like some tequila?" And I said, I wouldn't mind, but I would like to try some like really good tequila. He says, "Senor, wait here." So he goes to his quarters. He comes back with his bottle of tequila and he pours us 2 shot glasses. And he looks at Beth and I and he goes, "Senor, you gringos are all the same." He says, "You think you should shoot the tequila. Tequila, you should seep it like fine wine." And about 5 minutes after that, there is a ship full of characters. And this particular ship actually doubled as the Bounty.
In the
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and the actual ship's name was the Lady Washington.
Yes.
And anyway, they'd been out in the harbor doing tours and had people on board. And the Watemoc, the Mexican ship, was set pretty high in the water. But anyway, the Lady Washington or the Bounty snuck up beside us and gave us a full broadside of cannon.
Just the boom boom. Yeah, not with cannonballs. Just the boom boom.
But just the boom boom.
Oh, shit.
And it just shook the boat. You should have seen people come off the deck. There's just little memories like that are so much fun.
The reason we shot tequila, and as you and I might have at once upon a time, the stuff tasted like kerosene. You had to shoot it. But you get good stuff and you can sip it.
Yeah, no, that's right. But anyway, I just going back a bit, I spent 12 years on the Arena Society. I remember the first year that the Arena Society kind of tried to come together. they wanted people from minor hockey, figure skating, the men's leagues, old timers hockey, and actually we included the track club and anybody else that wanted to come out. And I remember the president of minor hockey of the day, his name was Dave Gatenby. He worked as an exec with McMillan Bloedel. And he came to me and he said, Ron, would you be interested in getting involved and being involved in hockey?
Oh, yeah.
I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I spent 12 years with the Arena Society, probably 6 or 7 of those years as their treasurer until the big money happened. As Tom McVeigh would say, Ron used to keep the books on the back of a match cover.
Yeah.
But that was quite an experience. We went through the phase where you bring in a consultant. The consultant held a public meeting and then wrote down on a board what the public wanted. And we wound up with this $60 or $70 million facility that we knew that we couldn't afford. But so we got all the plans back from the consultant and we said, okay, we need to start cutting to get down to budget. Anyway, we built a multiplex for $6.5 million.
That's unbelievable.
And I met with the architects probably 7 or 8 years after the multiplex was built, and we were talking. The multiplex has tilt-up concrete walls, so the discussion we wanted to have is if you take the back wall out and put 500 more seats in, would that be feasible? And yes, it is, but the cost would have been like $2.5 million to do that.
Yeah.
So just as a sidelight, I asked the architect, I said, if we were to build this facility today,
what would it cost? Yeah.
$18.5 million.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But we got away with $6.5 million because it was like a good old barn racing.
Oh, that they
people involved.
The people that brought equipment up there. I mean, I think of the gravel and the trucks. And people, and then the construction, the contracting. John Versteeg up there.
They were all competitors.
Yeah,
and
they all worked together.
And Charlie Haggard down the pit, directing trucks in and out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I think and Darlene Colson was a bit of a plug in that. I think. Yeah, she was pulling strings and stuff.
So. That probably would never happen again.
Never.
I just
never.
don't.
One of the most valuable pieces of facility and infrastructure we have in this community, that multiplex. And we've had a few of our interviews talk about bringing people together on a regular basis, and Dan McAvey being one of them.
Yeah.
So Junior Hockey Society, because I got sucked into that by Darren DeLuke. He says, we need a fundraiser, and you fundraise for PSF and stuff. Come raise some funds.
Yeah.
Man. I got hated around town. People were hiding when I came into the store. Look, come to the business, they'd go, oh, no more money.
Bob, do you remember the meeting where we sat down and we wanted to buy this hockey club from the Okanagan Hockey Academy?
Yeah, the school, yeah.
And I forget what the dollar figure was.
It was $600,000.
We were $80,000 short.
Yes, yeah, we were.
And we sat around this table and we said, do we do this?
We were just buying majority ownership. We weren't buying the whole thing.
Yeah,
we only raised a little over just short of half.
Dennis would stay involved.
And Dave Ness.
So anyway, we're $80,000 short. And we sat around the table. Any sane person would have said, you know what? Can't be done.
Yeah.
It just can't be done. It's but the risk of losing the hockey team, the Okanagan Hockey Academy said there was a chance that they
had another buyer or something. They were ready to move it. They were ready to move it.
And you know what? We sat around that table, and you were there, and Darren DeLuca, and
Russell
and Steph, Stephanie Weber,
yeah.
And we said, you know what? We've come this far.
Tell them we'll buy it.
Yeah, tell them
we faked that we had the money.
Yeah,
really.
And the biggest thing is we'd have to go back through all our records and give money back to people.
Yeah.
So anyway, we bought the franchise through some. Actually, this is a lesson to you. Don't get up in a meeting and go to the bathroom because you'll come back as president.
I know that. Yeah, we know that.
So I wound up being the president of the Arena Society the Junior Hockey Society for 7 years. And it seemed like every single year, at the end of the year, we're short the book. we were short $80,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
We managed to run kind of on a break even, but we had no money, guys. Like,
So I'd like a little shout out here because I was sent around and I went to Ken Barlow, $10,000, no problem. Went to Tom Hertel, $10,000. Oh, twice, $20,000.
Yeah.
Tom Hertel. At this point, my wife said, "Well, what about you, Cole?" Oh. So there was a few of us went in for that money to cover it.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. Steph went and got us nice jackets as a thank you for it. Everybody, I had these, well, you get paid back in a year. Well, some of them were 2, 3,
Yeah.
and a few years out. But they all did get paid back, except for the one who left his money was Dave Ness. He left $10,000 in, which was really, it was 10 that it was ownership of the team. He didn't, and that. So this community really came together when it was necessary, and it's been wonderful ever since.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it sure is.
no, look at,
But it still needs money. It still needs deep pockets to run a junior A hockey team.
in my opinion, the only way that you can run a team now is with private ownership.
Yep.
Yeah.
With somebody that's got deep pockets. There's
Who doesn't care if he wins or loses in year to year?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Yeah.
sometimes they get tired of writing checks.
Yeah.
Then you find somebody still want to win.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
But there's only 2 community-owned teams left in the BCHL now, and that's Powell River and Prince George. Prince George. And they struggle from year to year in their fundraising and hitting the corporate people. And
Yeah.
Both of those teams, by the way, did the house lottery.
Yeah.
And yes. Good money with that. We looked at it a couple times. We had these contractors who helped build the multiplex. We had contractors in town who were willing to do that for us, but we never quite got that far.
Yeah.
Luckily.
No, it's so the other thing in history, and I guess it's getting to be ancient history. It was 16 years ago. Was Russell Dyson phoned me one day and he says, I've been going through the Hockey Canada website and looking at Hockey Canada hosted events and trying to find one that might suit our community and our multiplex. And he says, Ron, I'm looking at the World Under 17. He says, I got it on my computer here, and I'm looking at the World Under 17 Hockey Challenge. And he says, what do you think if we put in a bid for that? I said, nah, don't have enough time.
See,
no.
And 2 days later, you said,
2 days later, I phoned back and said, Russ,
let's do it.
Let's find out what it is. And Hockey Canada has a pretty formal application process, and on their website is the criteria for putting together a bid package. So we went to work on the bid package. We started to build a bit of a committee around us, and we put our application in, and it was strong, and it was really well done. Ingrid from Parks and Rec put together the package with all the pictures, and it was pretty glitzy. And we get a phone call from Hockey Canada and said, well, it's down to 5 communities, and we're going to fly you out to Calgary, and you can do personal presentation. So Tom and I flew out to Calgary, and we did the presentation, and we got down to, it was 2 communities. And they said, well, there's a bunch of stuff in your package that need to be addressed. Airlines, transportation on the island, accommodation. So he says, we're going to bring you back to Calgary, and it was on Hockey Canada's dime. Bring you back to Calgary, and you make a personal in-person pitch with an updated package. And so Tom and I did that, and we got a phone call from Hockey Canada, Ryan Robbins, who was the event coordinator for US 17. He says, okay, I'm going to fly out and I'm going to inspect all the facilities. And by this time, we had decided that we were going to make it a 6-community event.
Yeah, how's something in Parksville?
Duncan, Nanaimo, Parksville, Courtney, and Campbell River, and ourselves.
Yeah.
So he wanted to come out and go through all of the facilities. And I still remember I picked Ryan up at Comox Airport. We're driving into Port Alberni. We're going through Cathedral Grove, and he goes, I can hardly wait till those kids from Europe get to go through here.
Yeah.
They have nothing, nothing like this there. And we talked about how a lot of these kids went on to play in the National Hockey League of Pro Hockey.
Yes.
But the idea behind the event is the experience.
Yeah.
Growing experience, to grow inside, to grow into mature human beings, and to participate in other parts of the world. And so anyway, long story short is we actually got the bid.
Yeah.
And we went to town and started working and raising funds. And we decided that we wanted to make it one of the best U17s ever held. So we built, I think, one of the strongest volunteer groups. And there's been many.
Yeah.
Summer games, winter games.
Yeah.
The timing of the U17 for us was perfect because it was from December the 26th through to about January the 4th.
Outside of the regular hockey.
And guess who's not working at that time? Teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So teachers became a huge part.
And they also know how to handle. Yeah.
And they're very professional.
Yeah.
Very
Manage young
professional.
people. Yeah.
Very organized. And so we built, don't get me wrong, there was 500 other volunteers around us.
Yeah.
But a lot of the key volunteers were from the high school, and they were so key and instrumental, and they worked so hard. Some of them were there till 4 o'clock in the morning waiting for buses to get home from Duncan.
Especially with the weather. You had a couple of weather issues.
Couldn't have been worse. It snowed every day. The works yard. The first thing that got done was the multiplex parking lot and Roger Street.
You had a little bit of influence on the city works,
so people can get to and from the games. But
well, just to interrupt, how many games were in Parksville? Was it just?
I think there was
maybe 2 or 3.
2
Loved it, and that Oceanside place was packed.
Yeah.
Good hockey. Really good hockey. I thought it was just fantastic.
You remember the game between Russia and Germany in Parksville?
Well, I remember.
And Germany won.
Yes, the Russians. Yes, Germany.
It's the first time in history
that
a German team at any level had beat the Russians.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember the German kids. They were throwing their jerseys off. They were giving their sticks away into the stands, and it was like they had just won the world championship.
Yeah.
It was so.
I remember. I can't remember what 2 teams, but I think didn't we have 2 Canadian teams or like?
Well, Ontario, yeah.
Yeah, we had a West and an East or something.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember what teams it was, but the 2 benches. One of the benches, the players were out of control on the bench. The coach had no control.
Yeah.
And the other bench, the coach had perfect control. Guess what team won? The controlled bench. The coach had that team.
They didn't wear themselves out.
Yeah.
And we
had coaches. I pointed out to my son. I pointed out to because we're watching. I said, look at this difference here. It was fantastic hockey.
We had that here in different coaches with the Bulldogs. Some that wouldn't open the gates, made them go over the boards, over and back, over and back, over and back. It's not bad in a one-game series. In a playoff series, X number of games and X number of nights. I think you wore them out climbing over the bench, over the boards.
Jim Hiller, is now coach in Los Angeles. His thing was the players always sat on the bench.
Yeah. You said. Yeah.
And they would show in the last 10 minutes of a hockey game where they would be pretty... pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting there, they're saving their legs.
And blood flow and et cetera. Yeah.
But anyway, U17 went off without a hitch, and there was not one hockey game that was missed or canceled because of the weather.
That's amazing.
The weather couldn't have been worse.
No, I know. There was
couldn't.
Places with a couple of feet of snow, and they still. Yeah.
We hired a bus company from the Lower Mainland to handle all of the busing, and they sent a dispatcher with them, and worked in conjunction to make sure every bus left on time. Yep. We had equipment, U-Hauls, that the trainers and stuff had access to that could go up an hour or 2 before the game, set up the dressing rooms. Wow. I went to a game in Campbell River. I don't know if anybody's been to the Campbell River. Right?
I've been there. Yeah.
Seats about 900 people.
Yeah.
They had 1,500 people in there that night.
They had
And
fire marshals on holidays.
It was the Russians playing Team Pacific that night. Team Ontario. And it was just a bar burger game. And the people on Campbell River were just revved. It was so much fun. Yeah.
I'm surprised Campbell River hasn't built a facility for Junior A, or at least Courtney Campbell River.
They're talking about a reno to that building and taking out the other wall and putting up people. And they would be a natural for a Junior A hockey team.
Yeah,
for sure.
Players from the North Island. There's NHL players that have come from, and Ron Endemore and Willie Mitchell. All those. There's a whole crew from North Island that they've got a lot of heritage there.
But in our lifetimes, you guys, there are things that you get and have the honor to do. And U17, if I didn't do anything else in my lifetime,
Would have been.
it's the
That's
U17.
the one thing. Yeah.
It was kind of the crowning jewel in my life, and the culmination of a guy that grew up he started 4 years old in his backyard rink to 2009 being the chairperson of the U17.
So I'd already booked, and I was in Mexico for it, but we stayed at a place that had satellite, and I watched every game that was broadcast.
Well, Shaw, we talked Shaw into doing everything, and then TSN did the gold medal.
Did gold medal game. Yeah.
Really?
But we talked. Russell went to college with the head Mucky Muck from Shaw in Calgary.
Oh, good one.
And worked him over hard, and finally he committed to broadcasting all the games in the multiplex.
So get them back and get those screens at the multiplex working again with Rogers now. So anyone.
Yes. But anyway, I do have a picture here, and I don't know if it's been a show
Glossy
or not, but
beautiful.
That's the organizing committee. I think everybody's in that picture.
Oh, nice.
A key person in this was Colleen Sawyer.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Colleen was very involved.
Colleen was the manager of the Royal Bank at that time, and there was one organizing meeting. We sat around and we said, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it, but we don't have any money. and of course, Colleen's going, well, you need to open a bank account. I said, well, we don't have any money. So I gave her, I threw $5 on the table and I said, here, Colleen, open an account. And during the volunteer recognition day, she gave me my $5 back in a frame. But there's so many people. People on site. First Nations were such a huge, huge part of U17. They came on board as sponsors.
Didn't they do the opening?
They did the opening ceremonies.
It was fantastic. Yeah,
we had they had dancers in every aisle, in every section.
Yeah, that's right.
They had singers and drummers on the benches. Throughout the tournament, they built bent boxes. And these bent boxes are a piece of art.
Yeah.
And the player of the games from each team got a watch with the logo, but we presented it in the bent boxes, and each player got a cedar headband as well. They were so on board every day for every game, and my thanks to the local First Nations, Sushad and Hoopachesit, for their involvement in that event. Another story. I don't know how much time we got here, but you can edit some of the stuff out. But I remember Beth, my wife, said to me, Ron, when you go out there for the opening ceremonies, stop and take the time. Look around you. Look into the stands. Look at the faces. And just seize the moment. Take in the moment.
Yeah.
And I did that. And part of the opening ceremonies, the figure skating club provided a number of flag bearers for all the flags from all the nations. Well, these girls came out, they did their rounds with the flags and everything, and then they some lined up by the Canadian players' bench and some lined up by the Russian players' bench. I remember looking over at the Russian bench, and the boys were just eyeballing. There was no hockey game going on.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and
I'm holding a picture here, 1964, 65.
That's
I know.
that's
It's there. I see that. I don't want to say this wrong. It's not cock-shoot. It's cock-shot.
Yeah.
Cock-shot arrows.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to show in 1964, 65, Ron's in this picture. I pointed them out, but it's really hard to do here like that. But and then there's a few others pictures there of
Well,
hockey teams you belong to.
just historically, and this has nothing to do with Port Alberni, but this is Edmonton. The first picture here is
62, 63. Look at this. You're almost as old as me.
played for the Mites team, and we won the Edmonton Mite champion.
That was like 59. Yeah.
And we all look like James Dean.
I'm going to turn it this way, get the reflection out of it a little.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, look at that, eh?
Yeah.
They did. Wow.
And then, I don't know, there's... Which one was that? Oh, that's the city championship. There's a provincial championship of bantams. That midget program that you showed up, we wound up in the city championships, and we were going to win it. We were going to go to the Alberta championships. And a gentleman by the name of Claire Drake, the University of Alberta Golden Bears, got knocked out of the playoffs, and he came and took over another team. Claire Drake made all the difference. He changed that team that beat us in the city.
Oh, he did.
Just come in here and just change
just a coach.
Just a coach.
Yeah,
Coaches can do it.
Just attitude and stuff. And
So we left out another important part of your involvement in this community, the city council. And interesting times. I know my son ran one term, and
he loved it, right?
He says, "You want to stir molasses? Get on city council."
You know, Bob, when I first came to town, I got to play for the senior A hockey team here, and we were idolized in the community. And we did a lot of stuff, and
Local
a
heroes.
lot of stuff came from the community to us. There came a point in my life, probably after I started playing old-timers hockey, after I was 35 years old, and I thought to myself, you know, this community has given me so much. And it's time for me to give back to the community. And that's kind of where my volunteerism started. And I got to be involved in the summer games way back in the mid-1990s. The winter games, higher profile under Scott Kenny. I became the facilities coordinator, right from Mount Washington to Parksville for indoor speed skating. And it's all about who you build around you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's all about people that you have around you and what you build. And U17 is a product of that. And really with U17, I thought, I'm so proud of this community. I want to show it off to the world.
Yeah.
You know, so we had Slovakia, Russia, USA, Germany.
Yeah. The
5 teams from across Canada.
Ontario.
Well, there's Atlantic.
Yeah.
Ontario, Western, Pacific. There's one more. But that's kind of the attitude that I've taken later in life. Haven't done much recently. I have spent a number of years recently with the Alberta Low Energy Housing Society.
Yes.
As a director and as their treasurer. I took 2 years off from there with some health issues. And but I've just recently come out of retirement there and volunteered to be a director with the Lower Energy Housing Society. And there's a pretty exciting project that they could be a part of, and that's the medical,
The new
medical enclave, if you will. And the
potential for that is really valuable if we can make it happen. It's another one of those things that
we could make it one of the best facilities in Canada or the world.
And we're trying to attract
Yeah.
medical
physicians.
professionals. You got to have
Facility, yeah.
And we would, the Lower Energy Housing Society, our portion of that would be to put in daycare, some housing and some accommodation and so on and so forth. So that's not something that's going to happen overnight, but I'm excited to become involved again. And
great initiative. And
part of that.
I'm really glad that you are involved in that. You know, there's a common theme in all those summer games, winter games, seniors games, handicap games. You can name a dozen core people that volunteer in all of them, but they bring the rest, everybody else they know together. And this community is really good for that.
There's just lots of people that say, well, I don't want to be
In charge.
the president, or I don't want to be in charge of
But I'll do anything else.
facilities. But when the event happens, phone me.
Yeah.
You know, so when it came to putting boots on the ground, the
No
community
problem.
came out in spades.
But somebody still has to keep that organized.
Yeah. You know, and with U17,
Yeah.
The committee that I had, first of all, they're all A personalities.
Oh, yeah. They all want to
So-
go away.
I have to say that our weekly meetings were pretty civil,
That's pretty good.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some very strong personalities. But the one thing, when I left that meeting and we talked about tasks and stuff, you knew when you came back the next week that to a person,
Everything was done.
it was done. And it was just, it was the time of my life.
Yep.
It really was. And
So we want to go back in history. So one of our next interviews is going to be with your wife. You know, at some point here we're going to interview her. She's going to tell us her memories of the old.
she's shaking her head over there going, no.
Not happening.
Alberni and Port Alberni. The amalgamation. He wasn't even here. You weren't here. So you know the two competing towns at that time. And,
She's got a lot of thoughts and information about Russell's Jewelers
oh yes.
on the corner of 3rd and Argyle there.
Yeah.
Her father worked for Bill Russell for 40 years before he opened his own jewelry store, Object Jewelers. Beth and her cousin ran Object Jewelers for 34 years.
Yeah.
But they were part of the core downtown when the downtown was it literally was the core.
Yeah.
Woodward's was there. Friday nights, that's where you went to
Simpson, Sears, Eaton's,
Sears,
yeah.
Woolworths.
We had them all. Yeah.
Best food counters ever.
Yeah.
Best fries ever.
Yeah.
Heartstoppers.
You know what? We probably
Run our time.
we've cut our time here. I think so. But I'm going to say I really enjoyed this conversation with Ron, and I always thought he was a good guy, and now that's kind of clarified all of that. I didn't really realize how much you were involved in the U17, but my son played a lot of hockey, rep hockey, and refed a lot, and the U17 that we watched in Parksville really helped him elevate his game and his knowledge of the game. So it was a wonderful experience. So anyways, Consequential Conversations. Bob and I are thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm going to start referring to him as Podcastle Bob. And there you go. So anyways, till next time, you can find us online, YouTube, and other podcast channels under Consequential Conversations. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. And,
Thank you.
You made it easy.
Thank you. Okay, well.
You're always a little